We got another movie review request here from my Patreon backers, Norman. Shout out to him. Thank you so much for your review, and thank you so much for being a member. And today's review is going to be a Nicolas Cage movie. A movie that, when I looked at other people's reviews, they just love the fact that Nick Cage was in this movie. And Nick Cage does a great job. But this movie is 2 hours long. And Nick Cage really shows up for half of the movie for me. The second hour he shows up. The first part's not really a Nick Cage movie. It's a horror thriller and it's called Mandy. Now this episode movie breakdowns, I'm going to review it. What's up world? Welcome to the episode movie breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up world? Welcome to the episode movie breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's movie breakdowns? Movie review series looking new and old movies. Give them a grade, 8 through plus or minus a 2 count. And there's a movie moment to review. Let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I get to as best I can. Also Patreon/Ali Zakka. For $2 a month, you can get cut in front of everybody. Whatever you want me to do, I get to it immediately because you're paying for my services. And I appreciate you for doing that. For example, like Norman, shout out to Bert, and shout out to Tyler Phoenix for all three of them being Patreon members, and they request whatever they want, they get it immediately because it's on my Patreon. And also you get extra content like trailer reaction, trailer reviews, and much more stuff. Now, let's go and get into today's episode, 2018's Mandy. Now, I will say there will be little spoilers in this because this movie is not really a movie you can talk about. I guess you can talk about without spoiling it. You have to do air little details, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on in this movie, so we're gonna have little spoilers in this as a heads up. Now, what is Mandy about? Mandy is about a husband and wife who, or boyfriend girlfriend, who lives out in the countryside, and one day a cult comes along and pretty much kidnaps the girlfriend or wife and like murder her. And this causes the husband / boyfriend, whichever he is, they don't really state what the relationship status is, but you know they're together, to go on a murderous rampage of revenge. And that is pretty much Mandy in a nutshell. This is a horror thriller, and you're going to get gruesome scenes in this movie. You get different scenes where you're like, oh my gosh, it's terrifying to look at, or a scene where a person's under like drugs, and it really breaks down and gets really weird. Now, the one thing I did like in this movie, or a few things I liked in this movie, was the visuals. The visual of the movie was really unique and really different. Also, certain times there's lens flares here and there, but the coloring and the designs and visuals you get to see in certain changes of the room, where it goes from like a regular normal color room to just a pure red room or pink, or it goes like a bluish color room. Especially with the scene where one of the main characters, Mandy, she's under the influence of some kind of drug. Like, the whole color of the screen turns like a purplish, greenish kind of like tone and set. It completely, the tint of the movie changes. And it's kind of unique, and you can see what she's going through and how she's seeing everything happen. It's a really cool visual movie. I will give it that. As far as horror, it's a horror movie because the things that happen to this couple is terrifying. You don't want to get captured by a cult and have to go through these things and try to work your way out. Like, it is very terrifying to watch at certain time what happened to these characters. Now, the things I didn't like, the pacing. I feel like this movie was paced off for it. Like, it was awkwardly paced, not awful, but awkwardly paced. Awkward to where I want to say. Like, the first 30 minutes of the movie, within the first 10 minutes, you're getting talking pieces between Mandy and, I believe, Nicolas Cage character name is Red. Let me double check that. Yes, Red. So you get these talking bits between Mandy and Red that you're thinking, like, for example, Mandy talks about her dad killing a bird, and then everybody took shots of the bird as they beat the bird down, which is very gruesome to think about. That scene didn't go anywhere. Or Mandy and Red talking about the stars, and her favorite planet is Saturn. No, her favorite planet is Jupiter, and his favorite planet is Saturn. That doesn't really go anywhere in the movie either. Or them watching movies and TV shows. One was about a character fighting aliens, which I can get how that plays a part at the end of the movie, but a lot of things they're talking about were just like there. And I guess it shows that the two are connecting, which is great. And not everything you have to put in a movie has to lead to another scene. But generally when you watch movies, when things are introduced or talking points are happening, it's usually exposition to set up something later on down the line. So when you roll back around, like, oh, you made that little line she said at the beginning of the movie? Well, here it is playing out in person. For example, in John Wick, they talk about how John Wick killed somebody with a pencil. With a freaking pencil. Then you see that same scene, if not in John Wick 1, John Wick 2, you see the same scene where he takes out two assassins with a pencil, a freaking pencil. So you're thinking those things gonna come up in this movie later on down the line, and it doesn't. But that's fine. And the first part of this movie is definitely the slowest part for me, and I kept looking at my watch to see where we at. What time frame are this? Like, within the first 10 minutes it's moving slow, and then the first 20 minutes we introduced to the cult, it's still moving slow, and it's moving slow, and it's them arguing amongst each other, and the cult dude who's kind of creepy per se, and kind of weird and just not right. And then when they captured Mandy, for me it picked up a little bit, because I was like, what's going on? And there's a scene that if you or somebody is subjected to having seizures, probably shouldn't watch this certain scene when they captured Mandy and beat up Red, because it's flashing left and right. Like, I had to look away a little bit because it was just too much going on the screen. Like, it was just too much flashing, cutting in and out, blue flashing. And that kind of messed with me. So you're watching this movie, you're epileptic, or it's not the word I'm looking for, I'm trying to think of the word, but like, can get seizures easily due to flashing lights. Don't watch the scene or pause the scene or come back to it, because it will mess with you. It was tough for me to watch it to get through it. But then when they captured Mandy, and Mandy goes through, they drug her up and everything, and she's going through this and watching everything happen. When they killed Mandy, it was like, oh my gosh, okay, all right, we're finally getting somewhere. And then you have a little moment where Nick Cage screams in the bathroom, drinking alcohol and cleaning himself off, because he's been tied up with barbed wire, which is also a gruesome scene. Then he goes on this rampage and pretty much kills like these guys who are like demons, but they're not. And then he fights, the final guys at the end of the movie and gets his revenge back. But the slow pacing of the movie was really threw me off, and this is one thing I didn't really like. And then the second half of the movie is a faster paced movie. You're just like, hold on, man, can we slow down just a little bit? Like, God, we're just going through already beating up everybody. Who are these demon dudes? I don't know. Bill Dukes jumps into the movie, gives a little exposition dump, and then dips out. But yeah, it's cool, it's neat. Pacing to me was an issue with the movie, and other than that, it was just like all over the place. It was a really weird movie that, like, if you somebody who enjoys psychedelics and enjoy a movie that's like really mess with your mind and give you different things to look at and make you like, oh my gosh, it's crazy, just visually, this movie will be the movie for you. But you're somebody who's not really into all that kind of stuff, not really into the flitching of the screen and different color panels and different things, or a cartoon drawing that appears in the middle of nowhere and then comes back again and then again when it's not a dream, you might not really appreciate this movie. Just saying. Somebody who enjoyed movies thought it was a unique movie, different style, and I was okay with it. I enjoyed it, and there are times when I didn't enjoy it. So that's my thoughts on it. Alright, let's go and get into the budget. So the budget of this movie was $6 million. That's probably one of the lowest I've seen. I think Invisible Man 2020 was $7 million. And it grossed worldwide $1,500,000 plus. That's how much it made worldwide. It came out in September 2018. Countries of origin: United Kingdom, Belgium, United States. It didn't really make its money back. It means it kind of flopped in the box office. The director of this movie is Panos Cosmatos. Sorry if I messed your name up. And he was also the writer. He or she was also the writer. And story by Aaron Stewart Anna and Catherine Kelly. They worked on the story. And the stars, and I think the acting in this movie was solid. I believed everybody's acting in this movie. You have Nicolas Cage, who played Red. Thought he did a good job. At first, he was kind of like the laid back, stoic kind of boyfriend or husband who just didn't really get invested. Like, he had signs of moments, but he was just more out of the first half of the movie. And then the second half is where he really jumps in and goes crazy. You have Andrea Riseborough, who played Mandy. This was her movie. The first half of the movie was her movie. It really gave you more character and depth of her. You got more background on her, what she's like, kind of personality. She loves reading. She loves thinking about the stars and have different dreams and works at a gas station or convenience store. Like, you get more backstory on her. The first half of this movie was her. Then the second half more Nick Cage. Then you have Linus Roche, who played Jeremiah Sand. I think he was, as a cult leader, unhinged, terrifying, wasn't sure what he was going to do next, how he tried to play this certain deity, but at the same time was supposed to be human and terrified, and had multiple personality disorders. You got all that from watching him develop on screen, which I thought was kind of neat, and he didn't like to be laughed at, which really set him a thunder against Mandy. But then he kind of disappears after Mandy dies, and Nick Cage has to hunt them down, and the monster people who appeared, that you don't really get any backstory on them. They're just there for the sake of the movie, for the sake of Nick Cage to fight somebody. I think the main three characters there was great. And then also you have Ned Dine? Sorry I messed your last name up, man. But he played Brother Swan. I thought he was also kind of a terrifying, second in charge for the cult. And him getting his comeuppance also was great. And then last but not least, Bill Duke, who played Carruthers. He was there for a moment, but he was more the exposition dump. I brought him up in the early part, so I just want to give him a little prop out here. But that's pretty much it when it comes to the cast and crew. But the three main hitters, you had Nicolas Cage, Andrea Riseborough, and Linus Roche. I think they were the three main hitters. Everybody else kind of there who did their part. Any other thoughts? The music certain times in the movie was solid. I enjoyed the music at certain points. And like I said before, the visuals of the movie is solid. The lens flare is kind of a little bit over the top, but just the visuals and the colors of the movie really do work for me. And it was kind of neat and cool seeing a unique, different movie. I like that when it comes to this. Visually, this movie is a solid movie. It's a horror thriller, so just keep that in mind. We're going to watch it, but the visuals are solid. Is this a Friday night movie? Nah, this is not a movie for everybody, so definitely not a Friday night movie. Maybe a movie you want to sit together and watch with your friends on a Saturday or Sunday. Hey, let's try this movie. But this is not one of those movies you go watch. Everybody, let's get together. We haven't seen each other forever. Let's watch this movie. Don't do that. And grading time. I'm going to grade Mandy from 2018 a C-. This movie gets a C- for me, purely because one, the acting is really, really good. The visuals are solid. But the slow pacing of the movie really does bogs down for me. It's really slow in the first hour, and then the second hour is just completely jumpstart crazy, over the top. There's certain characters in the movie you're who are the monster people? Why are they there? You get a little backstory on the cult and Mandy, but Nicolas Cage, he was good. He was good, but this movie gets a C- for me because there's certain times where I was hard to get through. Okay, I gotta get through this movie. So it's C-. C- is 70%. IMDb gives it a 6.6 and Rotten Tomatoes give it 90%. So there's two different sides of the spectrum here, but for me, it definitely is a C-, 70%. If you guys seen the movie Mandy, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys next movie breakdowns. Keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all and keep being awesome.